Very good afternoon to all of you. Uh, Nagarajan has given you a background of the industry, that health insurance industry as such. I'll just take you through different aspects of what are the areas where insurance uses technology. I was also discussing with Nagarajan, probably in insurance, for us, the only way to probably reach customers today is the use of technology, and uh, the penetration of around 1 or 2% that we have in the country, if that is to increase, the only way you could reach the masses in the rural areas is use of the technology solutions. For health as such, for the industry, the entire general insurance industry, health insurance is today the second largest portfolio after motor. For any insurance company, it would comprise anywhere between 20 to 30% of its total portfolio. Looking at the entire industry, we have already crossed around 10,000 crores of premium for health insurance, and it grows at an annual rate of around 25% every year. Uh, Considering the amount of awareness that is being generated in insurance, you also see the government now jumping into mass insurance schemes. We had it coming through the National Rural Health Mission, and then with RSBI programs which have started coming in. Uh, After the privatization of the industry, which happened around 2001, you had new companies coming in. But if you look at the last 3 or 4 years, you have now standalone health insurance companies which have started coming in. This is something which is very important in the industry, because this is health insurance always was viewed as a loss-making portfolio. It's not that it does make too much of profit today for many players, but yes, at least some players have started reaching a break-even stage, and the very fact that people now have started setting up standalone health insurance companies itself shows that this is an industry which is to grow much further. Yes, as you see, a major concern, and that also is something which technology, we would not say it's a disadvantage, but a challenge of which technology brings in, is about health frauds which happen in the industry. A major concern for all health insurance providers today is the increase, almost your 5 to 6% of your claims cost, which probably are part of health frauds happening in the industry. The role of technology, as Nagarajan was putting it, is basically utilized, one, in the distribution of insurance to the customers, the servicing of customers, and how do you capture data for the claims. We were in the previous session also discussing about how do you share information across the industry, because a very recent development which has happened is, just as you have a mobile number portability, you have health insurance portability which has come in, where you can move from one insurance provider to another without losing any kind of benefits on the way. And this strictly demands that you share information across the industry, as what is the medical health of the person, what are the types of claims that he has made, the demographics. Now, unless that is securely transferred from one insurer to another, this portability itself would not be very successful. Looking at the distribution part, you have most of the insurers today who have web-enabled policy issuance. You could sit at any part of the country, log into an insurer's website, buy an online policy. Restrictions which apply here, typically for health, the moment a person says that he has a past history of something, that's where you again need to bring in an underwriter, a person who determines what is the risk that is to be underwritten, and there you have manual intervention, obviously. As you were saying, that customers now can pay premiums online, so you have removed those hassles of people running after agents or standing in long queues in insurance company offices to pay their premiums. You can easily log into the company's website and pay it. And group health insurance, which is a major portfolio for most of the companies, there you have corporate customers who would like to be associated with a company which is tech savvy. They would not like to have a company where you have the manual exchange of papers or physical checks coming in. They would like to have companies which have premiums paid online, companies which can give them tracking of their claims online, or downloading of cards, their insurance cards. For rural customers, you would see that mostly insurers like ICICI Lombard, who do a lot of mass policies, they need to have some kind of a common interaction at the rural market over there, where there would be a single window for the rural mass to obtain their agriculture loans, their loans for their cattle, and also buy other financial products including insurance. This is something which the government infrastructure also needs to be brought in to help the private companies. Traditional cost, obviously for private companies going into the rural market is also a little difficult because of the cost of administration and the acquisition cost there. Although the regulator says that mandates that certain percentage of business has to be done in the rural areas, not many companies actually are eager to go there unless there is some kind of an incentive or tax break for the insurer. Another area where technology is used majorly by insurance companies is where for underwriting of risk people do a pre-acceptance medical test. For many insurers and for the customers, this is actually a painful exercise where you go to a diagnostic center for a medical test, you do your test there, you wait for a long time for the reports to come in, the underwriter sees it, the underwriter gives his decision, his or her decision, and then the decision flowing back to the insured. A major loss of customers happens because the customer is not ready to wait for a long period of time to get insurance, and surely an insurance company which is tech savvy would be able to get a customer if the reports and this entire process of medical test is done in a short period of time. Okay. We also have, as I was telling you about the insurance cards. Now, this is again something which is a big problem, was a big problem in fact for companies where people were given physical cards to access their health facilities across providers. These physical cards, again, the trend started that people wanted photo cards. Some companies started issuing photo cards. Then you found the photographs getting interchanged. You find someone else's father's photograph on your card, and then those are problems which private players also went through. Insurance companies now have started going into e-cards where you could actually go to the company's website and download cards. So the problems of those misprinting of cards not getting delivered, those have gone out. You allow a person today to actually go and register his family and enter the data himself for the enrollment. So this again rules out any kind of problems. Access to policy information. Now, even for a normal LIC policy, once the agent had explained the benefits to you, there was no way you could actually go back and check what are the benefits available to me, what are the coverages. In life insurance, obviously, the frequency of claims is much lesser because of they pay only on mortality. But for a health insurer, the frequency of claims are much higher, and for a person to know what am I covered for and what is not covered, for a layman to know, it becomes difficult unless it is available to him at one place. Now you have policy coverage information available online for most of the insurance companies. Also, many insurers have started wellness programs which are there to keep people healthy. For an health insurer, it's in own interest to keep people healthy so that claims are reduced. So you have online loyalty programs where people could register as a member, an insured member, and then they could take various health checkups and other programs over there. On the claims part, I think this has been the most painful area for health insurance, where people used to send a claim and then never knew what has happened to the claim, unless after 1 or 1.5 months you find out you get a rejection letter with some terminology which you don't understand, which says that your congenital diseases are excluded. So the layman doesn't understand what it means. You either had to run to a consumer court to get it redressed. Fortunately, today you have a claims status or a tracking which is there online, where a member, once he files a claim, you will be able to see what is the movement of that claim. You could talk to doctors at the insurance company through their call centers or through an online chat and clarify as to under what conditions the claim has been accepted or rejected. Pre-authorization is a process where most of the insurance providers today provide a cashless mechanism for your claims, where you go to a network and you don't need to pay anything at the hospital if it's on the network of the insurance provider, and the money is transferred directly to the hospital once the treatment is complete. This again was a process which used to depend on the person at the hospital. You have to be at his or her mercy of faxing it across to the insurance company. If the fax machine does not work at both ends, the patient stays in the hospital there. And this was a problem where pre-authorization process used to take probably 2 or 3 days before a person had to actually start treatment over there. Sometimes hospitals, most of our corporate hospitals demand hefty deposits before they even start treatment. Today, this again pre-authorization process is completely online. You apply for pre-authorization, the doctor at the insurance company sees it, approves it, and electronically the information is transferred back. Similarly, payments to hospitals and customers today is electronically done. Data transfer, as I said, is completely securely done through, you have many companies which come up today where they have common software provided to most of the hospitals as well as the insurance companies where data can be shared. On the technology side, another important thing is about, as we were discussing in the previous session, about the HIS softwares that are used in hospitals. Now, you will find that each of the hospital groups has their own customized software. Probably on the terminologies are customized for that hospital use. It becomes difficult for insurance companies to accept then this billing data or the discharge summary data which comes in with different kind of terminologies. The industry has made a lot of effort through, we have committees in CI and FICCI which are trying to standardize terminologies across these billing formats which are there. But still, things like we are discussing about ICD coding, where the regulator for insurance demands that ICD coding should be done. But a similar thing does not exist on the healthcare provider side. So you don't have that happening on the provider side at all. Challenges for us for technology thing is cost of administration, as I was saying, versus reach. Yes, it is desirable that insurance companies do expand their reach. The urban areas are almost saturated now. If you have to go into the class 3 and 4 cities, there's a challenge of the cost of administration there. The sharing of data, the privacy and security, although for the portability, as I was saying, you have something which has, the regulator has set up a mechanism where data could be shared between insurers. Most challenging is that you have insurance being highly regulated, healthcare providers, you don't have a regulator as such. So when you have a regulated and unregulated industry interacting, you have a lot of challenges which come in there. Basically from the pricing of services versus the pricing of risk that we as insurance company do. The transparency on the pricing of risk, which is how do you set your premiums on a product, how do you evaluate that this product is costlier than this, is very transparent because you will have to file it to the regulator and then only that pricing is allowed. On the healthcare provider side, I'm sure, you know, if I have a hospital and I decide my room rate, no one comes to challenge me as to why that room is 5,000 rupees or 6,000 rupees. And if you look at the providers today, the services are again based more on the hospitality industry than the hospital industry, where you have rooms available as presidential suites charged at 20,000 rupees a day. On that side, you don't know how do you handle those kind of, whether pricing is probably any kind of logic that goes into it. So there, although technology helps on the HIS part, that we have a standardized billing and everything, but here when you get into challenges of how these things are arrived at, that's a bigger challenge for us. Focus on activity-based pricing is again from the insurance side. When insurers try to do standardization, that's also dangerous, because we had insurers trying in and going and standardizing prices for healthcare. Now that's also sometimes dangerous in terms of insurers would do it purely on a statistical basis, you know, getting data for 100 customers, this was the total cost and averaging it out. That may not be something which is very logical, because you have the pattern of the risk pattern of each person is different. So applying statistics to it to average out prices is different from actually doing a costing on activity or resources that are utilized in treatment. As Nagarajan was talking about mass policies, yes, social health insurance is something that we need, but also along with technology, what comes up is its challenges. You had the government in RSBI allowing providers to probably swipe cards and get money in cashless transactions. So you had cards being issued for members who did not exist at times. The people who actually required cards did not get it. Family having probably 5 members had 10 cards issued with fake documentation. Now those are challenges again coming in with technology. What we hope to see is that with improvement in technology, at least smooth data flow from insured, that is from the person who is getting insurance to the insurer, from the hospitals to the insurance company. between back from the insurance company to the customer and between the insurers. We hope that with the UID coming in, you will have some kind of a national repository, data repository for all insurance companies. And as I said, since technology also has brought in the risk of frauds, we will have to depend on technology itself to probably manage frauds. And that is what most insurance companies are doing, of bringing in fraud management softwares as such. I think this is a basic, the idea on how in the industry is using technology. I think Nagarajan can make his presentation and then we can have an interactive session on this.